All right, all right, all right. Welcome to another edition of Vegas Bad Boyz of Podcasting. I'm your host, DJ Impact, and I got some of the bad boys here with me, which means we have to do roll call just to see who's here and who's not here. So let's go through with it right quick. Simon Street, you here?
I'm here and accounted for.
Oh, welcome, man. It's good to see you. It's good to see
you. You fine fellows as well.
Sin City Steve.
Present.
Ah, good. Great. Thanks for showing up to work, man. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I'm just here so I won't get fired.
Exactly. Matt Michaels.
Yeah, right now I'm out. I'm actually in Arizona, but I still am on the show tonight. So even though I'm in another state and we have technology, I'm able to participate on the podcast.
I appreciate that. Thank you for showing up. You know what? That is true. The internet is everywhere. So somewhere you can pop on, you know?
Well, that's not true. I heard there is such a place where no internet exists, and that's called Thailand. And that's where probably one of our compadres is at, Thailand.
Okay, let's see.
Well, Thailand is next to Smarkville, so.
That is true.
Very true.
All right, King Lucky is not here. So that's the missing link. But we're all here and we're happy to be here with you all. Thanks for watching us live or tuning in on our podcast. And first off, just to kick things off, hey, we got a brand new app. All you have to do is jump on your iPhone or your Android, go to your app store, type in Vegas Bad Boyz with a Z, and the app will pop up. It's a great way to keep up with everything that we're doing. And it's pretty exciting. So thank you for downloading that and keeping up with us. We're going to start things off with wrestling talk. And gentlemen, what an interesting week of wrestling this week. I mean, seriously, I was just, there was just so much happening. And I will tell you, I was pretty entertained. I won't go as far as going, oh, what is this crap? What are they doing? Like, I really was entertained. And that's just from everything that I watched from all the shows. So let's go ahead and kick it off with Monday Night Raw. They start the show, guys.
We can't talk about it because Lucky's not here.
We can't, so we don't know what happened.
We don't know what happened.
That's true.
We're not smart enough to understand what happened on 3 hours of Raw.
Well, you know what? And it would be great if he was here. There was the show started off with all of these power issues, lights going off, microphones going off. And it's funny because before I knew what was going on, I actually thought that they were really affected by the storm that was happening out there. I was like, oh, okay. But then I was thinking like, well, why would they still run it when it's not live? I'm questioning all these things going, until you get closer to the end, you figure it out. Okay. Overall, though, I thought it was a great show. I'll let you guys start off on what things that really stood out to you. And let me go ahead and just preference Raw Underground. We are going to talk about when we get to our 3 count. Okay, so make sure you listen to 3 count because that's when we're going to give our analysis about Raw Underground. There was a lot there, and we definitely want to, just unpack everything about that. So you're not going to get that right here on our wrestling talk. I'm acknowledging it, but we're not going to go deep into it, okay? But there was a lot of other things that was happening on the show. So, I don't know, guys, what stood out from you on that particular show that, you was like, I like it? Anything in particular? Go ahead.
I was definitely going to say I was pretty excited to see Shayna Baszler, continue to be strong, even though it's against Bay, know, and I don't mean Chris Bay, I mean my Bay, my other dimension Bay, but yeah, Sasha Banks. And, I enjoyed the match that they had. I want, like I mentioned last week, I really want to see them do something with Shayna Baszler. I think that, you know, she's a good, you know, person to fit in right now. And I think that there's a spot for her. I don't know where she's going to land, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how long Sasha can hold on to, you know, that Raw women's not tag title, Raw women's title that she has acquired. And we'll see if she can hold up because, you know.
Easy enough for you to say.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. So much damn gold. It's hard to just put the finger on one of them. But yeah, it was a good show. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I tell you, I enjoyed the Seth Rollins segment on that because I was for a second thinking I'm about to get Joe back in the ring. I'm not too familiar on what injury he has, so I don't know how far he is with coming out of that, or is he even done? I'm not sure. I don't follow it to a T that much, but when I saw him look like he was ready to get in, I was excited to see Joe look like he's about to do damage. Great segment, and then Tom played his role good because he looked like he was really scared about what was going to happen to him.
He always scared.
He couldn't talk. He was turning red. I'm like, Tom Phillips, come on, man. You know? Wow. But overall, great segment there. And it should be an interesting match for Seth having his match against Dominic, right? For SummerSlam. Pretty big for him to have that big moment. So I'm looking forward to that. But that was a really good, strong segment for that particular show. Sin City Steve, was there anything that Raw there that really stood out for you?
I personally liked the promo at the very end of the show with you know, the Hurt Business.
Yes.
I love what they're doing with them. Just continue to build them, make them a credible faction, and I mean you've got something good there. You know, I like the spin that they've put on things like these guys coming out in suits, but they're also bona fide badasses, and they could have gone a lot of different directions with this faction. But I'm really excited that they have gone the direction that they're going with them. It would have been extremely easy for them to do another, you know, carbon copy of the Nation of Domination, for instance.
Right.
But, you know, this, they
made a smarter choice just going with the 4 Horsemen carbon copy. So,
well, yeah, basically.
Well, actually, this is just a reboot, but the third member not being Kenny King that did this same thing in TNA many years back. So, I mean, almost identical.
Yeah.
You know, what's interesting too is that, I mean, those 3 young kids are finally getting a push.
I know, man. You know, I will say this though. I've never understood why they didn't give Lashley, you know, a main event push until now, and why it's taken so long. I mean, yes, he was involved in, you know, the WrestleMania event so many years ago, but I mean, even then it didn't feel like as if it was a true elevation. This legitimately feels like as if they are grooming him to take that championship from Drew.
Let me ask you this question, Steve. How many years has Bobby Lashley been in the WWE, or just in general?
So I mean, his career,
just give or take, just guesstimate.
So according to Wikipedia, because you know I had to Google it. No, according to that, I mean he it looks like as if he made his debut in 2005.
Okay, so it's almost about how many years would you say?
It's 15.
Oh, okay. So Kofi Kingston. 14 years. What did he say to Big E last week? Don't let them hold you back for 14 years. There might be something. I'm sorry, I don't want to rattle a cage, but I just see some common points. Just going to put it out there. Continue.
I don't know where you're going with that.
Well, you can connect the dots later. I'll get you some crayons and I'll get you the whole coloring book of the WWE. Wait 14 years before you get a title push if you're of certain color. I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah,
Okay.
but this is what's forgotten. Big E had a run as a singles wrestler.
Yeah, but it was as somebody's lackey, though. I mean, well, if you don't count NXT. NXT, he was very successful.
Yeah, but didn't he hold the U.S. title back in
He held
the
the
day?
IC title.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm talking about
That was the
the
singles
title.
champion.
Okay. I'm talking about
No.
championship.
Yeah, but don't forget that when they committed to New Day, those guys are the ones essentially making the choice to stay together.
That is true. That's a very good point.
How many times must they have been approached backstage going, hey guys, we're thinking of breaking you up? And they're like, no, that's okay. So
that merch check was looking real good.
Hey, I don't know, man.
I know I bought a couple shirts. I bought a whole bunch of New Day shit.
Yeah, it's because of your point too.
Yeah.
If they're not going to put the title on you and you're making your money off of the merch, well, why the fuck would you not just go, okay, hey, I'll stay in this for a decade if we keep making this kind of money? Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was just trying to be a little petty. I mean, every once in a while I can be a little petty.
Oh, no. I mean, listen, you've got a valid point, but at the same time,
there's other things.
Yeah. And the other thing too with Lashley's had championships, including the ECW championship.
Yes, true. Yes.
The problem with Bobby Lashley is that
can't talk.
He looks great.
Yeah.
Looks great. Yeah. I mean, he looks fucking amazing, but I mean, honestly, think back to the first time you heard Bobby Lashley talk, and you're just like, what? If Goldberg had that voice out of him, Goldberg would have never been a star.
Yes, he definitely talks very. I felt like I was going to hear a book being read. Hi, my name is Bobby Lashley. I just wanted to let you know this is the autobiography of how tough I look, but I sound like a normal guy. How are you doing? No offense, Bobby. Don't whoop my ass. I'm just saying.
And by the way, shout out to everyone that is in the chat rooms. Quite a bit is going on, especially on my watch party page. It looks like our very own Raven is being a comedian over here as always. Sin City Steve, he wants to know that bottle water looks pretty huge. How big is that thing you got there? And
that would be a 1.5 liter bottle of water. And I typically go through almost the entire thing between the two shows that we record.
Yeah.
That's also his restroom break too. He just uses the bottle.
Right. And we also have a birthday shout out to Shant too. So happy birthday.
Yes, right.
Happy birthday, Shant.
Yeah. So also Raw, how about Nia Jax, guys? She got herself suspended by the producer Pat Buck. I mean, she whooped his ass pretty well. What's your take on this, Matt Michaels? You're shaking your head. What's your take, man? Without pay, by the way.
when he got beat up last week, I just kind of just let it be. Like, oh, okay, they used this guy, whatever. When he came out this week and they're putting him in the ring and they're having him talk and shit, I'm finally looking this guy up. And you know what? He has a credible history. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I can't take that away from him. I can say though, as a WWE official, he comes off as such a independent wrestler that it's like I wanted Nia to like not only just destroy him. Why could she not carry Sane him? And just throw him down on his fucking mat and put him out of company. But hey man, she got suspended. Good for her. Because, she's what, 4 weeks in or 5? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you know what sucks so bad is now she's suspended with no pay, and that braid work she had was tight. It was looking good. Whoever did her hair, it looked good. Obviously, they didn't work on her common sense because she wasn't that smart.
Well, The Rock did her hair too.
Is that what he did? I mean, in addition to buying XFL with his ex-wife, associate manager,
and you know, I mean, he's the reason she's in WWE, and so why not do her hair too?
Yeah.
You fancy,
Yeah.
huh?
We also had the Street Profits. They had a match, and Montez Ford, he got poisoned. I don't know where that's going, but I let me just note to self. Now I know this already, and I'm sure Simon Street has been knocked out a few times in his life. But Matt Michaels or in Sin City, there's a possibility that you may not know this. So I'm gonna hip you to some game, okay? When you see Sister Girl, okay, black woman, take off her earrings, that usually means there's about to be a problem, okay? And it was for Zelina because Bianca just took right off on her. She was not having it. You know, when I saw the first earring, I was like, girl, Zelina, you need to run now, you know. You know, great segment back there, but I don't know what's going on. I mean, he got poisoned, and apparently they're not owning up to it, so they knew poison Montez Ford, you know. So I guess we'll have to see where that goes. Just another thing that was thrown on during that night of just so much craziness happening. But yeah, we had that. It was a great promo, right, by Drew McIntyre and Orton. I know Matt Michaels is still not sold on Drew. You know, I like Drew. I think he handles himself well. I thought it was a pretty good promo. They're selling it for the pay-per-view. But I don't know. I mean, Sin City Steve, what do you think? I see a smirk on your face. So you're not really buying any of these two?
I thought that this week's interaction was really good.
Okay.
It's pretty obvious when Randy Orton is either excited by something or feels challenged by something because he actually looks like he gives a shit. So, you know, whenever that happens, that's a win in my book. So just keep this going. And again, it seems like as if all roads lead to, you know, Bobby Lashley taking the title off of Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I guess we got the Riot Squad back, at least two of them.
I guess.
It was emotional. You
know what? But that was some of the best work that those two.
Yeah, seriously.
That was fucking great, especially too because the Iconics characters, that's exactly what people should be doing to them. It makes sense. Yeah. If anyone talked to you in real life like that, you would fucking go ape shit on them, you know?
Right.
So it made sense. What would be nice is if they could elevate one other person now into kind of that role that Sarah had. So have more of an enforcer with that group too, and have them fucking run roughshod. Give them something to do. Ruby's fucking amazingly talented.
Yeah.
You know, and Liv, you know, she has the ability, but there's so many through the years, there's so many short, blonde, big-titted chicks that it's hard to distinguish yourself. You know, I mean, look at Mandy. Mandy's finally starting to become something else,
like Dukes of Hazzard or something like that. That's why every time I see her, I think of Dukes of Hazzard.
Sure. So yeah, I think that, you know, and can we just say that Kevin Owens is like one of the greatest people. Just use him. Use Owens like you should fucking use him, because he is money.
Yeah. Agreed. And yeah, I think Liv has actually come a long way. And it's obvious to see how hard she works at bettering herself. So I give her all the credit in the world. So
yeah, I agree.
Well, if you also look at just the landscape between we're going to talk about Raw and SmackDown in this case scenario. You know, a lot of women are starting to step up their game to where they're bringing something to the table, which even makes it even more diverse and more deep of a roster for, you know, those two brands, you know, respectively, for, you know, just the women's roster. So many great things are going to come up in the future as we see more people. I mean, we give WWE shit about, you know, in the past of not really pushing new characters or allowing characters to go through. Right now it's happening before our eyes. So, I mean, we got to give credit where it's due.
Agreed.
But here's the cautionary tale.
They fuck it up.
Well, no, the women's division, think about it. The women's division can only get so much time. So unless they create a new show, all right, if Becky comes back and you have Charlotte and you have Sasha and Bayley, that's your foundation. Those are the people who are the core people who will always be at the top, right?
Yeah.
You're developing all these great women wrestlers. What's going to happen is there's not going to be a place for them. And thus, AEW now has their women's division. So basically, if they don't come up with their own women's program, they're basically the feeder for AEW.
Now, let me ask you this question, because you make a very excellent point about that, and I have thought about that along those lines. What if WWE put in stock or put a lot of stock into creating a viable women's tag team division? And really, you know, right now they're resting obviously on Sasha and Bayley. I get it. But right now, really put together some really good quality women's tag teams. We got the Riot Squad that's back together. You know, let's pair them as a tag team, a legitimate tag team. They already got the sauce. All we need to do is add the ingredients and put it on the plate. We're going to eat it up. There's some other tag teams are individuals that will probably do well if you paired them together. Take the time we have now during COVID, put stock into them. So that way, when we do get, you know, Becky back and we get, you know, Charlotte back, you have a really good tag team division that utilizes a lot of the talent.
So your problem with that is one simple factor, and that is time.
Yeah, that's true.
And the problem, think about it. They can't even come up with a good men's tag team consistency in a division of guys wrestling. And again, if you're talking about, you know, people who are not used, well, why wouldn't you put them in tag teams? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the focus has been lost on tag teams and tag team matches. Even though you're using 4 people, right? Now what you're doing is you're investing time and effort to build these two together. And if you're not going to be constantly having the tag team division on TV, then you're wasting time that could be used for your more important thing, and that is your singles division.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to what you're saying, having another show. I mean, even in that scenario, yeah, all roads lead to having another show.
And that's why factions work, is because with a faction, you can actually have a standout individual going for titles. You can have a tag team with the championships. That's the Horsemen laid the blueprint for what you can do with that. Yeah. NWO laid the blueprint of how you can take something that good and just totally fucking blow it out of the water by putting anyone and everyone into it and then having no time for anything else on your show.
Now, I don't want to jump the carriage before the horse, but isn't that what AEW is starting to do? Utilize factions? Just a nod, and we can talk about it later. I'm just kind of looking at it as you said it.
Okay, all right.
You gave me approval. That's all I need.
Yep. So one last thing I'll mention on Raw, there was a United States championship match against Apollo Crews, who came back against MVP, and Apollo Crews retained that title. So he had 2 belts as well. A lot of people walk around with 2 belts, you know. So
no, he doesn't have 2 belts. He gave the old belt to his kids so that they have a championship.
Yeah,
that's true.
Laying the expectation.
Because until this point, he didn't get enough money to buy them a title replica from Toys R Us. So
you can now.
Yeah.
You know what though? Here's the thing that it just
okay.
Why have Apollo Crews feuding with those guys? Have them with them. At least develop one young guy with the veterans.
Another group in WWE did that before too. I think they went by the name of Evolution. Just saying. Makes sense.
No, that is a good point though.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get my people to talk to those people.
Your people.
Yeah.
Who's your people?
King Lucky.
Oh shit! Well, in that case, you're gonna have to get to the Thailand border and just dance straight down the center to get to Smartville, which is in the center of Thailand. I'll let y'all figure that one out.
Oh my God! All right. Well, that will take care of Raw. And again, there was this. Everything that started off with Raw when it came down to the power issues and mic issues, it also went over into SmackDown. So we'll talk about that once again. But the following night, Tuesday, was Impact Wrestling. Any of y'all watch that, or just me?
I did. No, I watched it. I watched it.
Well, tell me, what's your thoughts on the show, man?
I tell you what, I like the Wrestling House.
See?
I don't know why it is the most corniest shit ever. It's like Real World.
Right.
Big Brother meets trapped in some altered dimension type shit. You know what? It's just the right amount of kookiness. And I like how Taya Taya is basically the host. And she, she just like ordering people around, and she handed out the soap, the kits because of the BO in the room. So she's handed everybody like a little, it was a styrofoam disposable saucer with soap, and I think it was a razor shaver kit or something. I don't know what it was, but I thought it was cool. It broke the monotony.
The Wrestle House is great because it now get a chance to utilize a lot of the other wrestlers and not necessarily, have them in the Impact Zone, because they still wrestle in the Wrestle House. But, it gets all of them sort of in, it keeps a majority of them on TV versus needing to, separate them. So it's a pretty cool concept, but I enjoyed it. And then there were 2 matches at Wrestle House. The only way you get a match is when there's an issue that ended up happening. And Swinger got himself in some mess talking that nonsense. And he got a match with against Alicia and Susie.
I know you love that.
And that match he just loved. I mean, even when he got pinned by both of them, he looked at it as himself being the winner in that one case.
Well, can you blame him?
Right.
I mean, sometimes you just got to call a beaver a beaver.
That's true.
Hey, I will tell you, calling a beaver a beaver, you know why I realized while watching just that match and then, watching other times with Swinger, if you took Quagmire from Family Guy and you turned him into a wrestler who actually kind of looked cool and had a little body on him, that would be Swinger. Oh, I was waiting for him to say, the shit that Quagmire does. I was waiting for him to say that.
That's funny. There was another match there with Rosemary and Kylie Ray, and Kylie Ray got herself kind of in a pickle because she was talking. What is the old boy's name? I always forget his name. Who's the sidekick for
Taya? I always forget his name too, but I love the flannel shirts and the little flip flops he be wearing though. He real dancing with it, like he about to. But
anyway, they was under the impression that he left the house, and and they got upset at that, so that caused a match in the ring for that. Good match there. But of course, Impact started the show with Heath versus Moose for the TNA Championship. Now, this was important for Heath because not only would he have become the TNA champion, but he finally would get a contract officially. And so pretty good setup, because you would think with that happening, more than likely Heath's going to win, right? Because he's going to get that contract.
He's got kids. That's not, he has to feed his family.
He's got kids, you know. So, but it didn't happen that way. What ended up happening is Heath pushed Moose into the ring corner. Of course, who was there? A referee. And
of course.
And the referee's now knocked out. And while he performed his finisher and had more than a 3 count to get him that win, that didn't happen. When Moose finally got up, he hit him with the low blow. And of course, the ref wakes up, and Moose still retains that TNA title. Good things what they're doing with Moose. I'm still enjoying it, and he's just continuing to show that he's good at what he do, you know. And Heath, you know, I'm pretty sure we all know that eventually it would come for that signing, but as of right now, you know, we don't know where his fate lies going forward.
Maybe so AEW, maybe AEW will get the same opportunity and not make it. That would be the best. And I think Michaels or somebody mentioned, I can't remember who mentioned it a couple of weeks back as a possible scenario for Heath. I can't remember who said it, but it was fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I think that's what his gimmick should be. It would literally be the best gimmick you could have, just going from company to company, being a free agent. And your shirt that you sell says free agent.
Free agent. But
by the way, Johnny Bravo.
Yep.
Oh, not like the cartoon.
No.
On Cartoon Network. Okay. Hey,
not
Impact, you left out one.
Bunch either.
Oh, that's true. Impact, you left out one thing with regards to Moose in that TNA World Heavyweight Championship, by, a guy that is on a mission to destroy everything that he claimed, EC3. His promo, kind of shows that, hey, your time is up, Moose, and I'm coming for the title that doesn't really exist, but could possibly exist. I don't know what the fuck, the Phantom TNA World Heavyweight title. But it's interesting, those promos of EC3. He basically, to recreate this new version of EC3, he must destroy his past self. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but I thought that was interesting to see where that lies.
True.
But it was emotional at the end, man. I'll let you talk about it. You watch Impact all the time, man. I was a little emotional.
Well, no, we'll get close to that. Just some other mentions of their good promo with Motor City Machine Guns and the North. They're gonna apparently Impact Wrestling is working up to their next pay-per-view, which is called Emergence, and that's going to be in about 3 weeks. So there's going to be a lot of title shots. Those that lost the titles during Slammiversary now get a chance to use their opportunity to fight for that title again. So it was a pretty good little promo between Motor City and the North. Kimberly, by the way, I guess she officially signed with Impact Wrestling this week, so shout out to her. And she met Purrazzo in the back and was like, look, I'll take out Jordan Grace for you, but I got to be the one to get that title shot. So Purrazzo was like, all right, cool. So we'll see, because that's going to happen next week, and we'll see if Kimberly can get that job done. But I don't know. I think Jordan Grace is ready. Last week, she showed that she's ready to take Purrazzo out. So big match, though. Eddie Edwards, he wants to be a fighting champion. And the person who wanted to accept the title was Sami Callihan, who came out. He almost made it to the ring 100% into RVD after his lights came back on, hit him with a chair. And then, of course, Katie Forbes came out twerking over Sami. I'm sure maybe what she was trying to do is get that butt to hit Sami's head while he was on the ground already. Maybe that was, maybe she was trying to, with the.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. That booty way too big to be on top of somebody's head at such a velocity and speed.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, Sammy did get beat up at the top ramp, and from that point, Eddie was being the nice guy, like, "Hey, all right, look, man, why don't we like postpone that? You shouldn't fight now, blah blah blah." And Sammy's like, "I'm ready to go," and they did have this match, and Eddie, of course, retained that title. So, good stuff there. Good Brothers, though. This was pretty interesting, and I almost kind of seemed like this kind of played out a little somewhat in like SmackDown when it came down to the whole Jeff Hardy and Sheamus car incident. Kinda. But good fellas, as they were walking to their car, they noticed their car door was open and some of their beer cans had already been emptied and right outside their door, and they're confused as to why this is happening. And of course, a sheriff happens to pop up and question as to why is there open beer cans, because in the city or state or wherever they're in, they're not supposed to have that open by the car. And now they're trying to explain that they don't know why that is. And then, of course, Austin pops up, Ace Austin, talking smack. They end up starting the Rumble, and then Doc Gallows hits a sheriff by accident. So Mr. Doc Gallows ends up in a jail overnight, and for that, and that left good old Carl Anderson alone. So later on in the show, he ended up getting beat up. But we'll have to figure out what happens with Doc. How long he's got to spend time in that jail for hitting a police officer by accident. But again, they have this car door open with beer laying out on the ground. So I don't know. We'll have to see where that's.
Can we just admit that during this COVID shutdown, that pro wrestling has basically turned every plot line into involving someone's car
in some way.
Basically.
Yeah. Yep.
A lot of rental cars or cars in general. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And not the cool dumping cement into Vince McMahon's Corvette and making the car explode. No, it's mom's minivan.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Definitely the time where cars are playing a major role in these storylines. Follow Bot and DJP had a match with Chris Bay and Rohit Raju, and Rohit actually had a nice new intro. It was pretty cool. He doesn't come out to the ones we're used to seeing him come out with when he was with the group, but that was a good match. And wow, and DJP actually got the win. So over Chris Bay in that particular match. So that's going to probably set that up for an X Division title coming up soon. And it's a great match, man. I what was the reason why? Can you guys kind of remind me, why did TJP get released from WWE? Is it just because he's not a big guy?
No, that was a kind of a sketchy situation. Yeah.
Okay. Because it was just weird as to why he's just so talented that I didn't remember what led to that dismissal. So okay.
I mean, dude's a stud.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, great match there. But again, what Simon Street was hinting to how they ended the match and ended the show. I'm sorry, and how the show ended with Rich Swann coming to the ring and pretty much announcing his retirement. And main reason why is because his leg again got injured by Eric Young, of course, during the Slammiversary.
Before that.
Yes, before that. And he had been out for, I think it was since January before Slammiversary, and he had been working to get himself back together, and then he became a part of that 5-man title during Slammiversary. And yeah, Eric Young just took that leg out, and we didn't know what was going to happen. And apparently he says he went to the doctor and they said it's a wrap. So he came and did a retirement. All the guys that were in the building came out, guys and gals came to the ring and gave him the proper leave off. And of course, as he now was walking up the ramp to give his final salute, to turn around, Eric Young runs out and attacks that leg again. So, and that was pretty much how the show ended. Overall, though, I thought it was a good show. And it's funny because, our great king told me, I can't wait to hear what you got to say about Impact Wrestling this week, because it was just shitty. I just don't get it, man. I don't see what he's missing from me. What is he looking for? Is he looking for?
He missed the whole damn show. That's what it was. He didn't watch the goddamn show. He was in the middle of Thailand.
I just get confused sometimes, man. I'm just like, what's going on? Anyways, that's Impact Wrestling. Good stuff. Let's jump over into Wednesday, though. And WWE NXT. I've been talking a lot. I'm going to go over here and let either Sin City or maybe you, Matt Michaels, anything that really stood out to you for this show that you were impressed with, or maybe you was like, why are they doing this?
All I have to say is Pat McAfee.
Yes.
Pat McAfee. I mean, the whole storyline, the storyline has been pretty amazing so far. And it really shows that, when you have somebody that is an actual fan of the product and a fan of the business, when they have a cross-sport appeal, and that WWE or AEW or whatever company is utilizing them to their fullest, when somebody is a legitimate fan that, in Pat's case, he even had a couple of indie matches like under his belt, but no, like he is a legitimate athlete. And they hyped up the fact that he was one of the best punters in his day. And just utilizing his feet, it's smart. It's really well done. And hats off to everybody involved, between, the people writing it, and Pat and also Adam Cole. And
I'm sorry.
It was just good shit, man. Hey, the thing is, I'm not afraid to say when NXT does something right. That's something that I feel separates me from certain people that refuse to give NXT credibility, or any kind of shine, I should say.
I think
I just got to ask the question. Did you mean to make a pun? You said utilize his feet because he's a punter?
Yes, I did.
I was like, what the hell?
Thank you.
See, but that's the whole thing that's amazing, is that you can take a punter and you can do something with him. Reality check is, like I said last week, I wasn't too familiar with who it was. And it's like, okay, now it sets in. It's like, okay. The brilliant part, though, is that you have Adam Cole working him. Because that is the key. As good as Pat is, the reason he looks so good is because Adam Cole is one of the best fucking psychological guys, period. And that segment, that whole thing, it was beautifully done to the point where it distracted enough from the match where, Kyle turns to look, and that's where, Fish gets taken out. Very smart. Number two, having McAfee attack Cole then as brutally as he did, and being an outsider, and we know that in wrestling outsiders work, that it sets up those guys to be baby faces.
Exactly.
And potentially even maybe take that unit and start breaking the unit apart. You know?
Well, what I was thinking that this was going to segue them into is bumping them up to the main roster, because you have to know that people aren't going to boo them on the main roster when they get the call and they start hopefully on SmackDown. People are going to want to cheer them, so it's at least smart that they're not fighting that. And I think that this just makes for a good segue for them to get that call.
I would even potentially don't bring them up as a group. Bring up one, bring up another, and then eventually they'll find themselves together again. You know, instead of blowing your load again with something that we've seen now.
Hello.
That's the disadvantage of factions, right? You keep them together too long, there's that inevitability that the act becomes stale. And so bringing them up individually could be a possibility. But god damn, two things stuck out. One, Shawn Michaels has the greatest look now.
He does.
I thought it was Eric Young, right?
He looks like a hunter, like an actual hunter now.
Right. And number two, speaking of Hunter, Pat McAfee took two legitimate fucking pushes from Hunter.
Yes.
And it was brutal.
Yeah, it was.
It was just like, fuck, because you know that, it was just like, yeah, do whatever you need to do. And boy, you got to give him credit for taking that shit, because man, Hunter's a strong dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's good shit. I mean, that is good shit. The other things in the show, you had some. What a way to open the show.
Oh yeah.
I think that you're finding that again, the women's division is incredible. That idea of Martinez going against Ripley,
Brilliant.
yeah, it's gold. It's gold, man.
Yes.
And she bloodied her up, man.
Yeah.
Bloody fucking nose. It's good stuff. Overall, again, the thing with NXT is that week in and week out, the show delivers.
Absolutely.
Keith Lee, come on, man. Come on. When Keith Lee turns around and you got Karrion Kross on that screen, and then they show the destruction and back.
Yeah.
It's one of those moments where you finally go, oh, okay. So they've gotten smart where it's not bring someone in and then they got to earn their title contendership. Here it is. I'm just laying down the law. I'm just going to kill everyone until you give me the opportunity.
Basically, yeah.
And with that type of strength, even a loss in a title match with Keith Lee, which I think it's set up right now where Karrion, if you give Kross the belt, then you can bring Keith Lee up. Because at this point, Keith Lee really needs to still be in NXT. But I can tell you damn straight right now, there is a faction on Raw I would love to see Keith Lee in.
I don't know.
There would be a powerhouse for sure.
Yeah, he'd be a powerhouse, but he like a teddy bear. He like Impact. He might look mean and big, but he like a teddy bear, man. You start talking to him, you just want to give him a hug. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you.
Keith Lee is a nice dude. He's going to have to do some shit if he's going to be part of the Hurt business, because business is popping.
No, those are all those were good points though. And once again, I can't throw this down King Lucky's face, but Cameron Grimes, he's just showing again just how great he really is to just to see his performance,
You forget one thing about King Lucky, and that is his whole thing is everyone's got to be a superstar.
Yeah.
And he loses sight what people who actually know wrestling, who have been involved in wrestling in some form or another, the most respected wrestlers are those people who, when they're in the ring, they make you look good.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with actors.
Lance Storm.
Any type of performers, you know, look, hey, the Rolling Stones have been around forever. Keith Richards gets all the attention for guitar, but Ron Woods makes him look good. And that's the thing. You have to have people around you to make you look good. Cameron Grimes is listen, if he was to go right now to any other company, he goes almost top right away.
Yeah, absolutely.
I enjoy his work. I really do. Even now, to every time he comes on and he says that same damn line, "You messing with Cameron Grimes, I'm going to the moon." Woo! I fucking love it, mostly because it makes King Lucky cringe. But
Yes.
it's freaking amazing because I can count on him to entertain me. And I think one of the announcers, if I'm not mistaken, one of them said, he's like a fly that just won't go away. And that's the embodiment of his character. He's the fly that won't go. How many times have y'all tried to kill one fucking fly in your damn house and he won't, you ain't never caught him?
Yep.
That's Cameron Grimes. Perfect.
Agreed.
I'm going to mention two other parts of the show that's worth mentioning. But going back to Pat McAfee, I love the line, "He's an angry elf." Love that. I love that entire segment. I think I went back and I watched it at least a couple more times just to that, because it was just great. And what was and just because I didn't get a chance to mention my thoughts on that segment. What I love most about it too is that although you knew something was going to happen at the end, the whole show was all based around bringing the unity again of the Undisputed Era, and it was going to start back with them winning the titles. So everything was about them starting off with the titles again, and that's what you were concentrating on. That actually happened. So it kind of, everything. It just kind of all came together well. Like, shout out to the writers on that one. I gotta give them props, just overall.
And give credit to Imperium, man.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
It was a good match.
Yeah.
Yes.
A very good match.
They're holding it down even without having Walter there. I mean, if all this COVID gets settled, I mean, they could just jump right back into it and be just as strong as they before all of them left. Because those two are
the original plan, wasn't it? Wasn't it the original plan that Imperium was basically just going rough shop all through NXT? I kind of feel like before COVID, that's where they were setting up for them to just be this dominant force, rough shop over Undisputed Era, or at least
that's what it would have turned Undisputed Era babies.
Yeah.
Yes.
The 4-on-4, so yeah, I mean, you have a lot to look forward to if stuff becomes normalized again.
Absolutely. Fandango, was he abducted by the Santo Escobar at some point and then brought back?
Well, after they smushed his head in the goddamn car door. Was it his head or his whole body? I didn't know. He got a hard ass head, so we knew he was going to survive. But
what a fucking promo!
Yeah, right. It was. They are fired, by the way.
Yeah,
they are fired. And might I say, this is where I wish King Lucky was fucking here. You have a great 3-man faction where the centerpiece is the cruiserweight champion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fucking working. Their whole angle of you disrespected the history and integrity of lucha libre, and they're just, I love it, and in fact, we should all pitch in to get Lucky a shirt of this faction when they come up with their faction shirt. We should all get him one. When is his birthday coming up? They're already passed. They're already passed.
Yeah.
But we'll get him one in February. They'll still be here.
Last thing to mention, there was a triple threat: Damian Priest, Oni, and Ridge Holland. I'm not familiar with Ridge Holland too much. Overall, though, it was a great match, and Damian Priest is found himself being one step closer to trying to get a title match. But what do you guys think of those that triple threat match with those three? Anything in particular? Not a big fan.
I mean, it was a solid match. I mean, nothing was overly stand out in there. The right guy won. That's the best thing that I can say.
Gotcha.
And it was a good showcase for Holland. I mean, he was on NXT UK.
Okay.
But so it was a good showcase for him. And I know that they ran a vignette for him the week before. Just kind of hyping him up a little bit. But just seeing, his first match in NXT being a 3-way to, get him back into, or to get him possibly into the ladder match, tells me that they're at least going to be pushing him as a solid mid-carder. So I'm cool with it.
Back to our, when we talk about our Facebook chat that we have going on, our Zoom chat. Well, yeah, it's on our chat. I'm sorry. Tristan is in there, and shout out to him. He says, hey, Priest is winning it all. The rocket is strapped on.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I'm cool with that, too.
The only thing he has against him is age.
Yes. Which
So
honestly is why I think that they're going to pull the trigger on him early with this for that reason specifically, to give him, ample time to be in the sun with the title.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he's what, 30, 36, 37 or something like that? How old is he?
I know that he's in his upper 30s.
I think he's 38. I think he's the same age as me. I think he's 38.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Father time is undefeated though.
But you know what? I will say this, and maybe again I'm partial to this, but I'm saying, like, I think a lot of it, an older person, a veteran, I guess you could say, may not be able to do the work ethic, but things are changing now. There's a lot of things that are out now to where people can't sustain longer. I mean, obviously, you probably have to make smarter choices. Obviously, probably change up your style. That shit that he did at the last takeover, falling off the back and into the steps. If you fucking getting close to 40, them days is over. I mean, if you want to do some shit like PCO, by all means, but he's like on a whole nother level of indestructibility.
He is not human after all.
He is not human.
Yeah, Punishment Martinez.
Yeah.
Damian Priest is 38. So
that's what I thought.
And you know what? It's not even look at his body. He's in good shape.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how his injury history, figures into his body, but as a whole, when you think about it, you're thinking about roughly in 12 years, he's 50 years old. So the sooner the better.
Yeah.
Because, the last thing you want to do is still be trying to reach the top of the mountain at 50 years old. And a guy like PCO, because he's not human, he is an oddity, man.
He is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
the thing that I think that Damian Priest has working for him in that respect is that he does not look 38 years old.
Not at all.
Not in the slightest. So, I mean, them working this angle where, they've teased, vampirism with his character and stuff like that. I mean, it works because he is old. He is much older than he looks. So, yeah.
Well, also too, if you think about it, there's much more to him other than his ring prowess. I mean, he's very good with his promos. Like I enjoy, and to be honest with you, the shit he does with his sunshades, I'm like, God damn, motherfucker, that shit is cool. Like, he just puts on his sunshade, takes it off real quick, talks with a deep voice like this, and it's just like, man, dude, that's fire right there, man.
Who knows though? Just remember, Damian Priest, when he was Punishment Martinez, he ditched a title to one Jeff Cobb. So
that's true.
Could we possibly see that matchup down the line again, maybe in NXT?
That would be amazing.
I'd be on board with that.
100%.
Fellas, let's jump over now into AEW, our other Wednesday night show. Of course, they kicked it off with a 12-man. I'm convinced it's going to be a 20-man, a 30-man.
Well, obviously,
straight out war on the football field again. But
yeah,
10 on each side.
Yeah. But yeah, they start off with that FTR, Young Bucks, Heyman, and Omega versus the Dark Order. What's your guys' take on the show? Or you can even start from that particular match there. Good stuff?
Yeah, I really liked that match. I thought that it was a good way to kick off the show. It was a ton of stuff going on. You can hate on it all you want, Michaels.
He threw shade from the onset.
From the jump, he was like, fuck this. I don't want to hear one positive word being spoken about this match. Ah. But no, like I thought it was a good match. It was a good way to start the show, if nothing else. And you know, it helps to kick off a show with a multi-person match, or you know, a multi-person tag team match in this case, because it almost always provides for, you know, a good degree of offense on both sides. Typically there's some chicanery involved, and it leaves people wanting more for the rest of the show. And I think that definitely accomplished all of those things.
More for the rest of the show? I don't mind when it's, you know, something that kind of here's the problem. The Dark Order. Just fucking end it. Just end it. Just end it. Because really, honestly, what was at stake in that match? The only thing possible that looks like they might hint at is Dark Order trying to lure Omega in. But otherwise, like, dude, and DJ Impact, do you think you could take that finisher from Brody Lee? So we the other day had to go back and watch slow-mo about 3, 4, 5 times, and Taz saves it by calling it a discus clothesline. But if Page didn't whip his head back violently, it was very weak. Now JBL, that's a clothesline from hell.
Yes,
Brody Lee, that's a hey, we're still choreographing shit. And that's one thing they still need to get out of.
Yeah, I totally thought that he just missed him. And I looked at that like, wait, he didn't even hit him. And so I must have went back and rewinded at least 3 or 4 times and played it slow just to see if there was some sort of connection. And I barely see one, but you know, Michaels did. I mean, it was right, the fact that Taz, you know, called that out to save that, because other than that, it just looked too it almost looked too choreographed, because you didn't see I didn't see the connection of that move. So, and overall, I mean, the match was all right, but how it ended is that part I was questioning.
Well, I was interested in it as well, because, you know, you had, you know, one of the members of, you know, FTR go down, and I, you know, kind of thinking back when I saw that, I was like, I feel like they're trying to drive a wedge between the AEW tag champions. You know, they obviously love the drinking buddy, Hangman, and Kenny Omega was goddamn milk. And once every blue moon, I pretend I'm gonna drink a beer, looking ass. You know, he was in the ring by himself, and Dark Order was, you know, tearing him apart for a while, you know what I mean? And I thought they were going to go that way of separating him and manipulating. But then, you know, you had one half of, you know, the Young Bucks do the same exact thing. So it's like, it didn't seem cohesive, like it was delivering the point to it. It looked great, minus Brody Lee's finish. And that's the problem with the Dark Order, I feel. I feel confident to kind of say it. I feel like the Dark Order could be something cool, you know, but I feel like they're missing a step.
I agree.
You know, I just feel like there's something that's missing, and it's not Brody Lee so much. I just think that where they're placing him, I'd rather them just do some crazy ass shit and take everything over at this point. You know, at least that way someone will come in and finish them, and then we're done with it.
Well, at least we got more of them later on in the show.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of Dark Order.
Yeah, this was a very heavy Dark Order episode of Dynamite for sure.
The darkness.
Well, let's go ahead and let's talk about it. Matt Hardy. And Sammy Guevara. Now, I at first I got a little confusing because again, Matt and I was talking about it. I at first thought that Matt had actually ran into the ring post. I didn't know it was the actual chair that caused that. I thought it was the ring. But man, how I'm glad to see he's all right, but that looked pretty bad. I don't know. What do you think went wrong there, Sin City? What do you think wrong with our boy Sammy?
No, I mean I remember reading that it was supposedly like they had a gimmick chair and he grabbed the incorrect one or something. At the end of the day, when in the heat of the moment, if he grabs, the non-gimmicked chair and hurls it at Matt Hardy, it was just a poor booking decision to do that stunt, in my opinion.
Steve, did you notice though, right before I think it was right before Matt goes into the ring post, he went down like this. So I think he did the gig because he did it on the left side of his head.
Okay.
When he ends up on the table, it's not gushing. So if you have a gimmick chair, the idea then was if he gets hit with the chair, then you get a little bit of color, but a little bit of color. When you throw a still open chair that you can tell is those things must be like maybe 5 pounds or so. I mean, they're heavy, sturdy chairs. And he launched it. Matt had no protection. No, he literally, he was expecting the other chair, looks up and boom, right into, where he's already gigged. And that just created the fucking mess.
Yeah.
As I could see it. Now, I could be wrong, but I think we read the same thing, Steve, where Sammy got an earful of it when he got backstage for, being very enthusiastic and just getting caught up in the moment, and things happen. But this is the thing, when you have greener talent,
exactly,
that's what you're going to see. So it's a learning curve. And hell, you know what? Those two, it's going to be a great match.
Mm-hmm.
And especially now, boy, if next week, if they play that up, I mean, it could be use that actual emotion of, I'm pissed off at you now.
Yeah.
Well, I think Matt, I mean, I would be shocked if Matt Hardy wasn't up for utilizing that. It seems more like who he is as a person and a professional, that he would say, let's use it. You know what I mean? Let's go with it. It sucks too because the finish, how he did what was it, a 460 or a 360? I think it was a 460, something like that. When he ran off and went through the table, I thought that looked amazing, but again, concerned for Matt being busted open, I was just kind of like, damn.
Is that Sammy? Is that his second strike?
I would say that's a strike. That's more of a work hazard. I mean,
okay.
He ain't on no Nia Jack level and shit.
No, no shit.
You know what I mean? But it's for me, he made up for it later on in the night when he aided JR in the PMP. When he was doing the cue cards, I thought that was some slick ass shit. Because normally when JR says, "Well, let's go to PMP, coming now," and I just, okay, let me go grab some food or a drink. That's the new bathroom break for me, unless it's a good match. But Sammy comes out, he's talking about, hey, Orange Cassidy, I stayed and watched, missed my damn bathroom break. You know, almost had to be like Sin City Steve and use my 24-ounce water bottle to pee. Nah, I'm messing.
Sick bitch.
The sickest you know.
Now, was that Trent's mama van that they came in?
Nah, that's his mama's van.
Mama's van.
Nah, that's his mama's van, man.
That's funny.
That look kind of like
wow. Oh, that's funny. Well, it looked like Santana and Ortiz. They really messed up his mama van. I mean, they went to town on that. When did they have time to take the wheels off?
You know what's sad?
They don't need time.
You know what?
They don't need time.
For them, they don't need time.
Snapping fingers, they're gone.
But you know what's so sad? I didn't know that their record sucked that bad. 7-5, now 8-5. I'm like, God damn. And they was one of the hottest tag teams coming into AEW. So I'm pretty sure there's somewhere they're going with that. I hope, because they kind of tarnish in their name.
I read a comment somewhere on one of these sites that said somebody was saying that they need to go back to Impact. Yeah. You know, just because they're not, I guess, holding their own, whoever made that, you know. So, but yeah, that van got destroyed. As we were talking about earlier, this seems to be the year of cars being destroyed for segments, and that was just another one. So, Orange Cassidy, Jericho. The debate 2020. And we finally got a chance to see the man talk. I didn't think he knew how to talk. I'm just joking with you.
Well, because you didn't know him before. You didn't know him before he got to AEW, so I would.
Well, look, I did know he talked, but I'm just joking around with the idea, you know. But yeah,
way better than our debates that we've had in this country.
And before we even could talk about the actual debate itself, how about the moderator of the debate?
Yes.
Mr. Eric Bischoff. He's back on TNT, folks. I can't believe it.
He looked about as irritable as Matt Michaels when we run the show too fucking long.
Bischoff always looks that way.
Yes, he does.
That's, you know what? But here's the fascinating thing.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Heyman, Eric Bischoff, Vince put him in a creative control position. The problem is that both those guys, as successful as they were, as creative as they have in terms of minds, their biggest contributions to wrestling are their on-air personalities.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why it is, but Eric Bischoff, I could just watch all day.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I ain't gonna lie. When I at one point wanted to just hear that theme. I'm mad and madder than ever. I'm just
Hey, can you do me a favor?
Are we gonna have to have a recurring weekly segment where DJ Impact sings karaoke of old wrestling things?
Hold on, Sin City Steve, with them white slippers on.
Dude, I'm down.
Lord.
With them white slippers.
I am down.
Stop
Coming
it.
soon to the Patreon.
There you go. DJ Impact sings karaoke.
Overall, though, good debate, though, right? I mean, that was a great segment leading up to their match next week. And does Cassidy, does he win?
Yes.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
He should.
Okay. Yeah.
Unless they're planning one more. So unless this is the lead up to the blow off at the pay-per-view, there's no reason. I think at this point, what you do is you have them go over, but it's through DQ or some reason other than at a clean pin. And then you have a blow off where Cassidy gets the clean pin over Jericho.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great match. I mean, in the match, I think I said before, is very monumental because you have Jericho, who represents, the older guard, And then you have Cassidy, who is the newer guard, which is like our younger generation. Even his whole character is that of the younger generation. We got our hands in our pockets. We're not trying to do too much work if we don't have to. And you old people just do too much work to make the same amount of dollars I could do for half the effort. I love it. And maybe I'm the only person that sees it that way, but it's fucking amazing. I love it.
Absolutely. And he answered the question about global warming, which I'm sure no one else could answer the question. So shout out to him for answering a great question there. Other parts on the show, we have Darby Allin, right? And Moxley. What's your take on that particular match, fellas? Did you enjoy that match there? Or was
I did.
It was just kind of whatever?
I thought it was better than the first time that they wrestled.
Okay.
Their first match came across very lackluster, to be honest. This time came across more of a big deal, and it felt like as if it was more important. So the two guys told a great story. I can't fault them for what they did in the ring. Great match.
I like the cutout mask that he came out with.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
You know, the hardest, I think one of the hardest obstacles, and you're going to see AEW do this a lot because of the fact that they're still establishing a roster and trying to feel out how their program, works. It's really hard when you go face versus face.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and on top of that, you have two faces who are both anti-establishment faces.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a very similar mix. If it was, say, Orange Cassidy versus Moxley, that's a little easier to mesh and, kind of give it a little direction. So I give them credit. Like Steve said, it's a better, it was a better mix this time. Personally, I think that I just want to see Darby Allin as a fucking heel.
Yes, same here.
Mm.
I think that'll happen.
Yeah.
There'll be something that causes him to turn. So I definitely see that happening. I think the reason why they haven't turned him yet is because of the fact that his character has resonated with so many people in the younger demographic. And they didn't want to abandon that pursuit of that demographic yet. That's the only reason why he hasn't turned heel. I guarantee it.
So I also want to, I agree on that point in the sense that he does resonate. So what I do is I turn him heel, and now he's that much more valuable in that age range.
Yeah, because right now he's already caught fire. So, I mean, why not do the switch now? And they're going to follow anyway. It's like moths to the flame.
Because of the fact that he's, he is exactly what the youth will gravitate to.
Mm-hmm.
Why was Austin so popular? Because he was anti-establishment, and that was perfect for that age range right at that time. Darby Allin could be very, very, money to this company if they get him to the point where he just resonates because he is so anti. It's kind of what they're trying to do with Moxley. That's what I said. It's tough with those two, is because you have kind of the same characters on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, it's again definition of characters. That's going to take time, man. It's going to take time to get it.
Well, on our Facebook chat, Tristan had another really good comment. He said, "Have Darby cost Moxley the title." It kind of goes along with what you're saying, because then, you're pulling the trigger on him turning heel, which then, I believe whatever direction he wants to go into, the youth's going to come. Like Sin City Steve said. I mean, the dude I love watching him. I love his work.
And I can't wait to see that skateboard used
Yes.
as a heel object.
As a heel weapon.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
The first time that is gigged so that it breaks. If you think about a skateboard, it's an unbreakable type of item when it comes to hitting someone with it. So man, if he hits someone in the head and that thing just shatters, I mean, he's going to be instant heat for those people who love baby faces, and instant stardom for those people who love the bad guy.
Yeah. It's like perfect wrestling science.
Speaking of, do you go ahead and pull the trigger with MJF taking the title?
100%. He's ready.
Well, I think to anyone who's listening to this right now, please, if you're watching, stay tuned. If you are listening to this on the podcast, please tune in tomorrow, because on 3 Count, we'll actually talk about that very topic. But very entertaining. Is that poster is not perfectly straight.
Right.
If you didn't use what was on the freaking ground, it's awesome.
And why would he look like the guy was pulling out green? What were they, green Skittles or something out of that?
Yeah.
I don't even know if you caught it. He was pulling actually the green Skittles out. It was so funny.
Well,
out of that.
He was probably getting it ready for MJF probably requested that he have Skittles.
Right.
Or something like that.
Which is the takeoff of the classic, writer gimmick from the 80s with certain rock stars asking for only green M&Ms or, whatever. And so I thought that was really well done too.
I like how he told old girl that you're not smiling or something, like if you're not smiling, you're fired or canned or something. Or I don't know what he told her. I was dying because he is a likable asshole.
You'd love to hate him.
Yeah.
You'd love to hate him.
Just a couple other matches. There was Cody and Matt Cardona was there. Again, it was with the Dark Order once again. Yeah, there was Big Swole and Reba. And that pretty much.
Does Reba even wrestle?
So she was in TNA, and
was she? I don't know.
Yeah, she was in TNA. She was also a part of one of the damn worst matches in the history of mankind against Shelly Martinez. So I highly recommend you, if you're a glutton for punishment, going and actively seeking that match out. So
what is she good for?
What is she
good for? I'm sorry to say it like that. I don't mean disrespectful. I'm just saying, what is she good for?
I don't know.
What name did she go by in
Rebel.
TNA? Rebel? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I might look that one up. Rebel and Shelly Martinez. Okay.
Well, I tell you what, I can't wait.
It was given -5 stars by Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer.
Wow.
Oh
-5 fucking stars.
They didn't know there was a minus category.
In the Tokyo Dome.
It was in the Tokyo Dome?
No. But if it was in the Tokyo Dome, it would have been a 4-star match,
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Well, I tell you what, I'm excited. I can't wait till Britt Baker, MD or DD, whatever the hell her name is.
MD,
yeah, the dentist chick. I can't wait to ask wrestling, man, because I'm telling you what, I'm so sick and tired of her talking shit. I want to see her and Big Swole. I want to see it.
You ready?
I'm ready. I'm already ready.
Are you ready?
Fuck you. You almost got me to say it. That was some slick shit.
Are you ready though?
I'm ready to go into the next goddamn question. Let's go.
I think it's time.
All right.
That was really good.
Are y'all ready to have a good time?
That's right. SmackDown, folks. And so again, we got a chance to get some more glitches from the show happening, and we figured out why. But before we get to that, we got that was a good match with Sheamus and Riddle. What'd you guys think? I thought it was pretty good. Yeah. I mean, Riddle is definitely showing that he can, hang with the big dogs in the matches, which we never had any doubt that he couldn't. But overall, it was a really good match. And what happened? Shorty G, King's Lucky's favorite, gets involved and end up causing Sheamus the match. with that. And then it kind of led to some conversation in the back with Corbin and Sheamus. Two heels having some issues with one another. And although a fight looked like it could have happened backstage, there was a match then with Corbin and Jeff. And then Sheamus interfered. So we see definitely where that is set up. Do you guys like to see where that's going? Or do you like the idea of Corbin and a Sheamus type of match or battle coming soon?
Only if their relationship is that of Megatron and Starscream. Somebody got to be the punk, and somebody got to be the big baddie.
Mm-hmm.
For both of them to be on the same level, I ain't buying it. Did that make sense what I was saying? I'm being honest. You know, I need somebody to be underhanded, sneaky, you know what I mean? Always doing some shit, but blaming on somebody else. It probably would be Corbin with his ass. But
it's Corbin. I mean, that seems to be that for whatever fucking reason, they might be starting to go face with Sheamus. You know, but Sheamus was over huge as a face.
He was. He was.
The interesting thing is that, if I'm not mistaken, was it ever brought up that Sheamus was king?
Well, he did win a King of the Ring, didn't he?
Yeah, no, but I'm saying
I don't think that they mentioned that.
Yeah,
no, they haven't.
Which I felt was the first shot of them backstage, and they're looking at each other face to face. I'm like, why the fuck is Sheamus not, you know, telling him, you know, hey kid, before you became king, there was another king, you know, and maybe they'll start heading that way. Brucey, come on, I know you're watching.
You know what they should do? They should call it the Battle of the Bastards. Bet you that's never been done before.
No, it hasn't, but this has. So anyway.
God.
Well, we also got to watch the Dirt Sheet. Okay. And there was an interview with Mandy's hair. I don't know. I will say this, that I'm all for foolishness. Now that I saw how it ended up, I had a better response for that than before. As it was happening, I was going, this is just absolutely ridiculous. But
why?
It seems suitable because it just is. There's hair moving around with glasses on there, and they're imitating the voices. It's just ridiculous. It's stupid. Okay, it's not even comparable to Wrestle House. Okay, and I'm up for a good entertainment. All right, but again, after you finish it, after you finish it up and everything, you go, okay, I guess I can roll with that. But I don't know. It was just. But then again, I'm like, this is probably what Fox wants, right? They like that. They go, I like that hair talking. Perfect. That's
and
great.
even if
That's
Fox doesn't, you know who does?
Yeah, there's one
Vince
person.
McMahon. Let's have the hair
That's
talk.
such good shit.
Yes.
The biggest problem is it went long. It went long.
Maybe that was what it was.
If it was shorter, it would have been totally fine, because Sonya Deville comes out, and I mean, again, you're talking a fucking. How are you going to use all these women? You're gonna have to give them their own show, man. She's so fucking good.
Yeah. She's amazing.
Yep.
I want to see her in the next Wonder Woman movie. I've decided. I want to see her be in Amazon. Like, to be honest with you, I could fall in love with Sonya Deville and know that she'll never look my direction, because she's just a beautiful woman. She has great charisma. I mean,
she's got wonderful chemistry with Miz, and that would be kind of a cool thing to see her do the Marine 7, because that's been a vehicle for giving some of the talent and opportunity, and Miz has been solid holding that franchise down. So that's a person who would be awesome. More acting gigs for her. She's good, man.
Yeah,
that's a great call.
I agree.
That's a great call.
And Mandy, oh my God! Finally, the haircut. Woof.
Well, I was trying to get a really good look at her. She was just
didn't look too bad. Didn't look too bad.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, she don't have the long Goldilocks no more. Looking like Dukes of Hazzard. She still look like Dukes of Hazzard. I mean, she's still a bombshell. Long hair, short hair. She Mandy. But
listen, mom jeans never look so good in the ring.
I did have a question though. So after the Fiend comes out, they go to commercial, they come back, and Alexa Bliss is in the ring in the same position again. I was a little confused at that. I don't know why. It would just because I almost thought for a minute, like, am I watching last week's what they're about to do over? Like, I really did. Like, how did she get there? Why is she in that same situation again?
Because she's having to repeat the drama.
Yeah. But it was just.
That's what I looked at it as.
Yeah.
But did you notice it was a little more seductive?
Oh yeah.
The transformation's happening.
Yeah.
Transformations.
Possible.
That's gonna be weird to see her in a seductive, sexy way. Because and maybe I'm being naive when I say this. I'm so used to seeing her be, I think her first gimmick in NXT was the Pixie Princess, whatever. And then when she got to the main roster, she was like, like the mean girl type thing. I've never really seen her in a, sexy, sultry type of way. I wonder what that's gonna look like.
Way better than Sasha Bay.
Oh my gosh.
I noticed I'm going to call her Sasha Bay from now on because of your dumbass.
What? I don't know. You glitched. What?
I'm going to call her Sasha Bay from now on because you're dumbass.
Sasha Bay. Hey, somebody got to have a boss, and that's my boss.
Absolutely. Well, look, so everything then came down to what the hell is going on with these lights and this microphone. Apparently, there's some retribution. Guys came out of nowhere, and gals, bats, and ran the announcers out. Some of the audience got caught up. There was a oh my God, spray paint. I don't know. They just ramshacked the entire performance center, or at least that ring there was, and everything around it. Retribution. I haven't read anything. I'm sure everyone's probably have read that they know who this is and what this is and why they're doing it and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But just from what we saw that night, what was your take on it after it was all done? You were still, the screen went off and it went black before it went to the next commercial. You were still staring. What was in your mind at that point? Let's go.
Oh, shit. That one girl in the crowd, that looked really it was on the edge. some scary looking shit a little bit. Maybe I'm being soft on it, I don't know. But I really want to play the let's play that classic game we played as kids, the Guess Who game. Because as some of them were talking, I was trying to immediately think of who the fuck are these people?
Well, you can't play that if you've already been going through reading it, and you probably already know. But if you haven't done that, then now why not play the game and see who you think it might be?
Will it work? That's my final thing. Will it work?
Look, I thought it was pretty, and I think the point was made. It was pretty impressive. It looked damaged. It looked real. It looked like something really was happening. It didn't look, make believe or whatever. I mean, it looked like they really was there to make a point. They were pissed off at something, and the Monday night when they showed the video outside of them setting the power source, I guess, on fire, and then they were cheering. That right there looked a little goofy, that part. But Saturday, I mean, on SmackDown, on that particular, all of it was like legit. Like none of it seemed silly. It seemed like it was just some serious shit happening there. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Sin City or Matt Michaels? What was your take when you saw, after it went off air and you were still staring? What was in your mind when you saw that?
Hey guys, well,
I was a lot more optimistic than what I was after seeing what happened with Raw.
Okay.
I after what we saw at the end of Raw, I was just like, what the fuck? This is completely something that they are hot-shotting and trying to throw on the wall to see what sticks. And the thing is, at the end of the day, they're being creative. You can't really fault them for, trying things, especially in times like this. This is a time where they should, throw some things against the wall just to see what sticks. So I can't fault them for that. Needless to say, after Raw, I was a little bit I wasn't looking forward to what was going to be happening necessarily, but after SmackDown, they made it seem a little bit more realistic in a way. So yeah, I'm more optimistic seeing what happened with SmackDown than what I was after Raw, for sure.
Yeah.
Was it just me, or did one of the voices sound like Xavier Woods?
I'm not sure.
A little bit, but I was looking at his eyes, and it didn't seem like it was Xavier. Not that I know Xavier's eyes, but you could obviously see skin color.
That was something that was something else that came to my mind, and I have not read who the identities of these people are.
Me neither. I don't want to actually.
I want to stay in the dark with this as much as I can, because whenever shit like this goes down, I always get fucking spoiled. And largely it's because of an individual that's not here right now to defend himself.
Can we find a way to mute him though?
Honestly though, like, this is one of those instances where I wouldn't mind being a fan and not knowing in advance, and actually having a genuine surprise.
Yep.
I didn't say mute me, Michaels. I said, is there a way to mute Lucky?
Be careful what you wish for, Simon.
Anyway, the thing about there's a couple different things. You're talking about a group of people, 5 people, who we have for one of the first times, you're not looking at people who you immediately go, those people are professional wrestlers. Those body types are just ambiguous body types. So you can't necessarily go, oh, that's so-and-so and that's so-and-so. Number 2 is very, very, they're doing the rioting and looting that is going on today in our society. So at some point, we're going to find out who's behind this. And, that's the endless possibility. And not necessarily who are those people, but who is behind it. Right? So basically, it's the Dark Order.
WWE style.
WWE style, exactly. That's
the Darker Order.
Yeah, essentially.
We'll call it the Black Circle.
But
I'm glad you're the one that said that, not me.
It's just a circle.
So, but I think that that's the big point. The big point is people are going to give it shit because they're going to call it cheesy. They're going to say this and say that and whatnot.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is, until you see what the the end product is,
Mm-hmm.
you shouldn't judge. Don't judge it yet. Judge it.
Yeah.
If it fails, it fails. But like Steve said, it's creative.
Yep.
It's something that we haven't seen.
It was
And
a chainsaw in the ring.
Now
That was cool. That was cool.
See, and that's one of those things that anytime you hear a chainsaw, it's automatically grabs your attention, right?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I was waiting for Leatherface to just be like,
Chainsaw Charlie.
Chainsaw Charlie. Yeah. I mean, it's a great gimmick to do, bring out a chainsaw. And then to go ahead and chainsaw the ropes, that was great. I was really hoping, instead of just flipping over the table, I was really hoping they were going to blow it up.
Like set it on fire or something.
Set it on fire or something like that. I think that's the one thing that they missed out on, is they didn't go far enough in the destruction of the performance center as they were going off the air. So you could even maybe not have actually set it on fire, but had them with cans of gasoline starting to douse the performance center, and leave that like, what the fuck, and have it like literally just go to pattern. That would have been just like, oh shit, and then have shit on WWE on their website the whole weekend saying, they're, show, pictures of like oddly burned out things, and to give that perception of this was really not a planned thing. This was, we don't know who the fuck these people are, and this is really, look, a $1 million performance center has been trashed by these individuals. And as far as and then that gives you the next step, which is what I'm assuming they're probably going to do, is there should be total security all around the performance center for this whole week. And if shit still happens, then we know it's someone on the inside.
Oh. Well, let me ask you this question, because one thing I thought about as I was seeing all this is who's going to be the hero that deliver us from this chaos? Not saying I'm trying to guess who it is, but I'm saying, will it be somebody new that they're bringing in, or someone don't call it the what?
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. if his ass can remember to fucking get there, I expect Kanye West to show up before his ass shows up. Talking about, someone told me I could divorce Kim Kardashian if I saved the performance center.
That's hilarious.
No, but I'm curious to see, because with every chaos type of storyline like this, there's a hero that arises, and it works better when it's somebody.
Well, I mean, ultimately, it's an attack against
who?
Shane McMahon.
I just said Vince McMahon. I was like, oh, please, no.
Actually, no.
Let's take Joe
actually,
Biden.
I could see Shane McMahon being the one behind it all.
Yeah.
You know what, Steve? I'll up you.
I like that.
I'll up you one.
The whole fucking family.
Shane McMahon's oldest son.
Ooh.
Okay.
Doing a play like he did with his father with WCW, but stepped it up one notch.
Well, Dad didn't pay much attention to him when he was growing up. He was more interested in the business. He's doing this shit like Raw Underground and trying to be edgy and stuff. And it's like, no, I got a voice. Fuck you guys. Now, I think the kid's probably only 15 right now. So,
well, there's that.
Not him.
Minor details.
Well, everybody's kid's about to come up.
We could. Who says that it actually has to be Shane's kid? I mean, for fuck's sake, Hornswoggle's Vince McMahon's son. According to WWE canon, anyway.
Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting.
But that brings to another thing that we just kind of brushed over, and that is Braun Strowman is finally going to be a fucking monster.
Yes, I'm super excited for that.
For a guy who got so fucking stale, this is intriguing. And if it's what if it's Braun's guys? What if Braun just started a cult or something like that? Doubt it, but you know, they finally are starting to get some interesting stories going here.
Yeah.
You know, and
thank God.
You know, even with Mandy and Otis, I mean, and Sonya and everything that's going on with them, it feels at least a little more cohesive that we're not just seeing matches.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This whole COVID era has provided, I think, just wrestling across the board, doesn't matter what promotion you look at, giving people an opportunity to be more creative, to, you know, utilize more resources than what they normally had, and we're getting some good shit. Not all of it's been great, but we've been getting good stuff.
Well, good stuff, guys. That's our wrestling talk. What is that? I can't see what that is.
That's his alarm that he set. That's his alarm he set for 5-minute warning. Simon Street, shut the hell up. DJ Impact, wrap us up.
That's funny. Okay, so yes, that is our wrestling talk, and we're gonna